Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or whenever you're listening to our program. This is Ted and Ed TV program. How you doing, Ed, this morning?
Oh man, I'm doing great, buddy. We've had one heck of a week here, and there's a lot of stuff going on that we need to talk about that our audience probably want to hear about. And some of the latest news here that we done just lost our Health and Human Services Secretary, Mr. Tom Price, the whole District 6 from Georgia representative who been under a lot of pressure from the Political magazine because of his enormous travel fees that he's been charging to the United States and everything for doing his personal travels and business travels and stuff on private jets and private military planes and everything, that to the tune of almost over $1 million in just 4 months. It is so. He tendered his resignation to President Trump yesterday, and President Trump accepted it, which I thought he probably wasn't going to do, but it looks like he found something to beat him over the head with. But you know how Trump is. If people don't do exactly what he wants them to do, he's going to beat you over the head. So
he's just following the leader. That's all he was doing, following the leader.
Yeah, but Trump was kind of upset with him and everything, because from what I read last night, he really raked him over the coals for about 2 hours and sat down there and did to him what they do to these little children and stuff. They berate them for just, spanking their hand because they did something wrong, and you treat them just like they're a little child. He's a grown man. So that's going to be a big thing to find out who is going to take his place, and it's going to have a tremendous effect upon the Affordable Care Act and where we go from now. So everything is all up in the air now for our health care, and we have the annual markup time and stuff in November. And here it is, almost October, and they only got a month left, and then people are going to be coming in and trying to change their insurance and all that and everything. So,
well, you heard about the fact that there was an annual budget of $100 million to promote the Affordable Care Act, and Trump cut 90% of that.
Right.
So he only left $10 million to promote that program.
Absolutely.
And so now the question is, how are people going to get the word out to sign up for that? Plus, on top of that, he's getting ready to cut a lot of the other funding that's available. So basically, he's trying to really kill it himself. He's doing everything he can to kill that program.
Well, the other little mice that's running around the house now and everything is that today, September 30th, is a big day here, because guess what? Chips expire. That means now that our children, disadvantaged children out there, do not have health care coverage right now because they didn't put any money. Yeah, today they didn't put any money into the program. They knew about this when the Senate came back from recess beginning of September. They knew that this was coming up, but they wanted so much to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act that they just threw the children's health care issue and stuff right out the door. So our children's health care program, as of today, does not have any funding.
Wow. Now, where's the outrage for that?
It isn't. Nobody is coming around and saying anything. From what I've been reading, that a lot of these states and stuff now say they have a few dollars that have been left in their coffers, and they're going to use that to try to keep some of their children and stuff on there. But as of now, we've got over 2 or 3 million children and stuff that are uninsured.
Wow.
Yeah. Uninsured.
What is going on, man? I mean,
it is a truly a true mess out there. But that didn't have anything to do with the Health and Human Services secretary, and it had something to do with Congress because they usually fund this program every year. And for some reason or another, it kept getting thrown behind and thrown behind and thrown behind. And then this repeal and replace got everybody in the Republican Party all excited and everything that they can get it repealed and replaced. So nobody wanted to deal with funding their children's health insurance program. So, man, it's a horrible thing there. I never put this down on our notes here for what we need to talk about today, but after we had brought this thing up about Tom Price here, I came in my mind that it was today. And I have talked to a few people about it, and it looks like Congress hasn't put anything on the agenda to do anything about it. So hopefully some of the audience and stuff out there will call their congressmen up and talk about what are they going to be doing with our children. Somebody has to do something about it because they need health care.
Well, we've seen that, all through in D.C., all kinds of protests, and a lot of those people were individually because Congress can't do, when I say Congress, I'm talking about the Democratic side. They can't really do anything. They have no power. So, therefore,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that they don't have any power. They can, basically they can complain, they can protest, they can speak on the floor, which they've been doing all of this type of things. But the bottom line is that people got to realize, this is a political thing. Whoever controls the House and the Senate controls the money. And therefore, you have to have the right people in office if you want things to get done. And right now, the only thing that the House want to do now is deal with cutting taxes. That's basically what they want to do.
Yeah,
they want to cut taxes. That's the number one thing, because they know that they got a lot of these senators, congressmen. They owe a lot of rich people favors. And they also will benefit too, because if you look at some of their net worth, a lot of these congressmen and senators, they worth $2, $3, $4, $5, $8, $10 million. So they're going to get the benefits of that. And as well as a lot of these, of course, multimillionaires and billionaires. Kudos to a lot of these rich and famous actors, entertainers, athletes, speaking on these types of things, because they're really taking a lot of money out of the system to benefit the country, because we need infrastructure, we need better schooling, we need to cut the price of education, but everything is constantly going up, and what our conditions of our infrastructure is very poor, So there it is. We need to really focus on getting people into office that's going to do the right things. I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrat or independent or whatever, but they need to get the right people that care about this country and care about the people. Majority of the people.
Yeah, you're right about that. But now I want to get back to that point that you were talking about the Democrats can't do anything about this. Well, they can. They have the bully pulpit that they can use and stuff to get the Congress to do what they want to do. And we just talked about something that bully pulpit did. They got up on there and they started screaming and howling about the Health and Human Services Secretary using all this money and stuff for travel and everything, and they got him thrown out of office. So if you stand up and you start hollering and you telling the news media and you're crying to them about it, and they're putting you on national television talking about children who don't have health care, then the Congress is going to do something about it, because their constituents are going to start crying to them and say, hey, we can't do these children like this. These are our children. And now they'll start acting upon that. And even getting back next year to this tax reform and everything, we have this is going to be a mess. I'm telling you, Ted, it's going to be a mess there in Congress trying to get this tax reform done, because that alt-right who are sitting there in the Congress and the House of representatives and everything, these people are these debt folks and stuff. We don't want to increase our debt. We don't want to get anything to our debt. Yeah, they don't want to add to that debt. And that's their battle cry and stuff and everything from a long time ago in 2010 when those crazy people and stuff came on and they rose
that's
up.
The Tea Party.
Yeah, the Tea Party came in, and they still got these Tea Party folks there and everything in Congress and everything. And there's about a group of 60 of them that really have been a thorn in the Speaker of the House's side. You know, he can't do anything without bringing them on board. And if he does want to do anything, he either got to use the people that other than those 60 and stuff and let the Democrats come in and help him pass legislation. So if you look back at what's been going on here in the Congress and stuff since Trump became president, there have been no major legislation passed in our Congress since he got in office, and we already into our 10th month here now of him being in power, of the Democrats being in power, I mean Republicans being in power, and them not enacting any major legislative ideas or whatever. So it looks like, and if I'm right and stuff about what's going on and about these Tea Party folks and stuff and everything, I think this tax reform thing is going to be an absolute mess. And I don't believe that they're going to get anything and stuff done into this Congress and stuff because there's so much bickering and stuff going on with the Republican Party and stuff that it is just unbelievable. They are not going to act anything, no legislation whatsoever. So get ready. We can be aware of this tax reform and what they're planning on doing, or how they plan on doing it. But if anything happens, then it's going to increase their national debt.
Well, the point is, this is the thing, though. I mean, according to all the analysis and people doing the actual work and breakdown in the budgets and everything, they're looking at it as though it's going to add another $1 trillion to the deficit.
Absolutely.
So, like you said, that those people that are what we call Tea Party people, they're not going to go for it. They're not going to go for it at all.
It's going to be a mess.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. And then, of course, you're on the other side, they're going to be protesting too, because you're giving all the breaks to, all the millionaires and billionaires.
Absolutely. And you have the lobbyists, from what I've been reading and stuff, they are revving up. They're getting ready to go in there into the Congress and start making sure that their pet projects are not going to be thrown aside through this tax reform thing. So you have a lot of money out there that are competing for the congressman's ear to make sure that they don't bother their little pet projects. And because there's so many of them out there who are fighting and everything going on, so you got the Tea Party, and now you got the lobbyists who are sitting out there saying that do not bother this. Don't bother my little pet project. Don't bother my pet project. Don't bother my pet project.
Oh, absolutely.
How are you going to get anything done?
They're in a pickle. They're in
a pickle, man. That's
it's not going to. I don't think it's going to fly. Personally, that's what I don't think. They might compromise to a certain degree, but I don't think not the way it is now. And to be quite honest with you, I don't think, in the past, my knowledge is that a lot of the presidents are involved in dealing with a lot of these things because, some of the past presidents have been involved, and I know for a fact, our last president was involved heavily in a lot of things. I don't think this guy, 45, is really dealing with anything in detail. Just give me something. That's all he's doing. Just give me something. All I know is I want to make sure that I'm not paying as many taxes as I want to. They've already calculated that he will get something like over the next few years, if that thing passed, he'll get over $1 billion in tax release. $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So now he only supposed to be worth what, 3, 4, maybe $5 billion. Just think about those people that that's 20 billion and 30 billion and 40 billion.
And the problem is that we've already got a debt, and then by giving these people a tax break, you're going to increase that debt. And you know, Republicans always have been talking about tax reform. You give the money back to the businesses and everything, and they're going to increase jobs. Well, that theory and stuff and everything has been tested and proved false so many times that it's unheard of, because
it's even worse now.
Right? Yeah, you can't give. Businesses do not create jobs. People create jobs. The consumer creates jobs, not the business. The consumer creates jobs. And you can ask any company and stuff out there, Walmart, Amazon, any of them, Apple, whatever. The consumer creates jobs, because when they buy products and stuff, then business flourish. They don't buy their products, business don't flourish.
Well, one of the things that, you know, and when you're talking about small business and even larger corporations, the big thing now is AI, artificial intelligence, you know, robotics, machines that can run themselves and produce products and do all kinds of things. So you're going to have, as far as manufacturing, you're going to have less employees that they're going to need. You know, I listened to number 45 talking about we're going to tremendously help the manufacturing people. But most of those manufacturing people, if they're overseas or they're coming back here, they're going to be doing automation. You know, a lot of those jobs are not going to be coming back, because you're not going to need that type of hard labor anymore. So as far as that goes, you might increase to a certain degree when some of these people come back, if they get that 20% that they claim that they want, or 25%. So we'll see. We'll see.
And I wanted to let our audience know one thing. You're not saying his name, you were saying 45. So 45. I know you have skillfully.
Oh, you picked up on that, huh?
I picked up on it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You don't want to say his name now.
You're going to mention his name.
We're going to call him 45. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up because I caught that up. This is the third time you said it. So you don't want to say his name, so we're just call him a number.
That's what he is, a number, man.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not feeling no compassion for people, man, as far as I'm concerned. I want him to love everybody and be care about everybody's thing. I don't care what side you're on. You know, this is about American people. And right now, I'm not feeling that, I'll just tell everybody, basically, I'm a God-fearing person, and I believe in love and all of that. And I say my prayers for him, but if he don't need to be in there, I'm asking God to take him out. I don't mean in a violent way, but just whatever way, we need the right person at all times running this country, the right person. And if he's not the right person, he needs to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's just the way I feel about it.
And that'll bring us to that next topic that we wanted to probably discuss, and that's Puerto Rico and what's going on there, and how he has taken American citizens and stuff and just throw them out to the wolves. And every day you're hearing you're saying to people, hey, my people on the ground, they're doing everything they need to do, but those people there in Puerto Rico are still suffering. And when you have someone who is supposed to be in charge of this entire country and know who our citizens and stuff are, to come on television and all of a sudden when this thing happens and say, well, we're going to evacuate our U.S. citizens from Puerto Rico. And I think his chief of staff and everybody else kind of cut him off real quick and said, hey, pal, the entire island, American citizen. These people are citizens of this country. 3.5 million of them. So how are we going to evacuate 3.5 million people?
Wow.
So that's the start of that mess and everything. And for him to send FEMA over there and all of the other people and doctors and here on news media because they don't have any electricity, no internet access, no nothing in that island, and people can't find out what's going on. And to have our news media, like I said, have the governor or the mayor of San Juan on to find out exactly what is actually going on the ground there, and to find out that these people are there. They got doctors there, they got all kinds of people who are sitting there, and they have them sitting in the stadium waiting for an orders to tell them what to do. It sounds like Katrina all over again.
Yes,
it
sir.
really does. It sounds like a Katrina, and then to have him to tell the American people, well, I'm going to travel over there Tuesday, which is coming up here real soon. I'm going to make a travel over there. Well, how are you going to travel into that country and stuff? They don't even have electricity or air traffic control. You can't do anything and stuff there. And I don't believe that he really actually understands how to govern. He doesn't understand what's to be done. So I look at the 45 and I just say to myself, man, to be a businessman, you don't have a lot of sense about what's going on. And I have to understand that if you try to come over there, even a week from now, if they don't have any electricity on the island, how are you going to do that? You're going to take all their resources from them, their police and everybody else to help escort you around the country that you have not even begun to help. It
Sure.
is, yeah, it's just unbelievable and stuff how he thinks and what is going on in his mind. It just brings up question marks and stuff in my mind and stuff. How in the heck can this man be a billionaire and he can't function and stuff like a business person? He doesn't have any idea that a business person would have, because if you have a business going on, you have to look at everything. You have to understand how this thing works, and you just don't say I'm going to do something and everything and that's magically appear. And I'm hoping that if he does go there and stuff on Tuesday, that between now and Tuesday something happens, that at least 2/3 of the island and stuff will be able to have electricity, that the hospitals and stuff will have power and stuff in it, because from what I hear, out of all the hospitals they got, there's only 13 of them that have electricity. The rest of the hospitals don't have any power at all. They ran out of the auxiliary power. They don't have any fuel to power up the generators or anything like that. People are standing in long, long lines for hours, for whole days at a time, and they still don't get food. They still don't get their medicine and all of that. It's just,
I mean, it's got to be one of the worst conditions that you can be in, because the fact is that when you have little babies, and we don't even know how many children, that's running around, that's with their parents. We don't know what's going on. Nobody's telling us anything. You can't even find out the stories. You can't find out what's going on with the elderly. We hear that, they have 69 hospitals, something like that. And you just mentioned they only have a dozen that's available for use. So, that's horrible. And how many people were in the hospital for all kinds of different ailments? That is the question. And that needed all kinds of medical assistance. Mm-hmm. So, and then when you're talking about food and water is one of the main things that you need in order to survive. You can live without food for 6, 7, 8 days, even longer, but you got to have that fresh water to survive, and who wants to live without food for more than a couple of days anyway? You have to have some type of nourishment. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, despite all the danger things that's going on, there are a lot of people, I'm in the Tampa area and I listen to a lot of local radio, and a lot of, people are helping and trying to get over there to help those people, you know, and they're doing all kinds of fundraisers and programs to get goods over there. But wait a minute, FEMA they have hundreds and hundreds of big old diesel-sized truckloads of food and everything else, that's water and everything, gasoline, generators, all of that. They're just sitting there. Just sitting there. And they're giving the excuse, well, we don't have the truckers. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I mean, you got military, you got over 1,000, you got 100,000 you can bring. You know, I heard one of the generals say, though, the guy that's over there, he said, the main thing is, you know, these people need food now. They need water now. They need gasoline now. Mm-hmm. So 10 days, man, 10 days, come on.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing, the FEMA is saying that there are no guidance, no guidelines that are coming from the White House as to what they can do. And one of the things and stuff that came up and stuff during the conversation this past week was the fact that they have a maritime act that they're trying, the Jones Act, that they want to rescind for a while. And the Jones Act says that that American ships and ports and stuff can only use American vessels and stuff to move from one American port to another American port. So unless Trump rescinds the Jones Act to allow foreign countries to come in and use their vessels and stuff to bring food from the American port to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and to Puerto Rico and stuff, then they're limited as far as how many ships that they have. So right now they're trying to get these American vessels and stuff over there to the American port, and it might take them weeks and stuff just to get there, and then they got to load the ships up and then sail from the American port to Puerto Rico to give them those supplies. So they've asked Trump to rescind the Jones Act so they can use other vessels and stuff to take these foods and supplies to Puerto Rico. And so far, he's refused to do that. For what reason, I have no idea why. He did it during when they had a hurricane there in Houston and in Texas. He did it when they had the hurricane there in Florida. That's why Florida was able to come back, and because they brought all the supplies and stuff there and brought everything in, and they didn't care what ship came in there. They were allowed to bring food and supplies and stuff in there to hurry up and make sure that all the Floridians and stuff had the things they need to come back from the hurricane. But he has not allowed that to happen over there in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico really needs it because everything they get, because they are an island nation, everything they get is either flown in or brought in on a boat.
That's right. So, well, the only thing we can do is keep hoping and praying and doing whatever we can do on our end. And I think that's what's happening right now. A lot of Americans are contributing and supporting them. But like I said, it's only so much individuals do, especially when they're stopping people and not allowing ships and boats and airplanes to come in. But anyway, another topic that's really been trying to knock people off the real issues. This nonsense on the NFL. What's going on here?
Old 45 again. We got old 45. This summer 45's mess. we got all kind of things going on in this.
Stirred up the pot, man. He done stirred up the pot.
He just said, and usually when he says something, you can control it. But this one right here, I think this thing has spent totally out of hand. And he's found out that his little tweet and everything is creating a real mess and stuff for a organization out there that has most of their employees of color. And they have limited ability to really do anything. And so he's found something else to pick on to create a mess out there. Usually his tweets and stuff don't create a big problem, but this one and stuff have really caused a lot of trouble. And it really didn't even start out with a tweet. It started out with his mouth being open in a political rally for a potential senator who was coming up for re-election. He was at this rally in Huntsville, Alabama, and he was trying to have Luther Strange and stuff, who is the current appointed senator for Alabama, because old Jefferson Beauregard Sessions and stuff is the attorney general. So this election is to fill his seat there in Alabama. And so 45 and also old Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, they are backing the appointed senator and stuff for re-election and stuff to the Senate seat that was vacated and stuff by Jeff Sessions. So at this particular rally, old 45 realized that they had a real knucklehead maverick and stuff there, named of Roy Moore, and that's another story in itself about this guy. He realized that the polling and stuff that they were doing, that no matter how much money that they pumped into the election, and they pumped a lot of money into this primary election to get Luther Strange, elected as the Republican nominee for that seat. So at the rally, which was right before the election and stuff on Tuesday, on a Friday, old Trump sits up there and everything and realizes that he done stepped into a hornet's nest. And his man that he is trying to get to be elected and everything, his polling numbers and stuff are getting, by the day, are getting horrible. He was already down at that time by 12 percentage points and stuff through that polling. So they knew that Luther was not going to win that primary, Republican primary election. So Trump was very upset because his people had sent him down there to rally the Republicans to vote for this guy, and everybody who's sitting out there in the audience and stuff know in their own mind that he's sitting there rallying for a guy that's not going to win because they don't want him. The people did not want him. The Republican Party in Alabama did not want him. So to create some mess, Trump gets up there and makes himself look like a big man and start talking about people standing up for the flag. They have a protest, a mini protest going on in the National Football League that was started out by Colin Kaepernick, who was a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He lost his job and he started protesting Black Lives Matter by using the introduction and stuff for the game, for the national anthem and stuff, and he would kneel down on his knee during the national anthem instead of standing up and putting his hand over his heart and all of this. So Trump decides now that because this thing is going on, that he was going to tell them, the National Football League owners and stuff, that anybody who doesn't respect the flag to fire them. And instead of saying them, he put some special words out. You fire those SOBs. Now, he has created with those words a firebrand out there, and he's got all these alt-right supposed veterans of the country thinking that the black players in the National Football League are disrespecting the flag because they won't stand up and put their hand over their hearts. Well, he has taken a protest, a narrative, and just totally destroyed the meaning of the protest by his words saying that they are disrespecting the flag. And really, actually, everyone out there knows that this is not a disrespect to the flag, but because Trump said this, his alt-right folks are gotten all up in arms about this stuff, and it has created a nightmare for the National Football League.
And the only reason why they're doing that is to not discuss the issue.
Absolutely.
that's the whole purpose of the protest.
Absolutely.
So,
And I'm right now. I came down to a Wounded Warriors banquet here that happened on Thursday and yesterday in central Georgia. The state of Georgia did a banquet for the Wounded Warriors. And I'm at this. I was invited to come here to Twin Cities, Georgia, and the banquet is held in the city, right outside the city of Twin Cities, Georgia, here in the central, eastern central part of Georgia. And I'm at the banquet and sitting there with one of my friends and stuff, who is a wounded warrior and stuff, a wounded veteran from the Iraq War. And they were doing a celebration to raise money and stuff for the Wounded Warriors Foundation here in Georgia. Well, all of a sudden, some wounded warrior comes up to me, "Hey, fella, what do you think about those football players disrespecting our flag?" Well, I could have took the position of not saying anything at all. I said, well, I don't know, I don't have no opinion like everybody else is doing around there. They're asking all the collegiate athletes and stuff what they think. They're asking the collegiate coaches and stuff when they come on radio program about what they think about this protest by the National Football League minority players. So my point to him was, they are not disrespecting our flag. That is not why they are doing that. It is no disrespect. And I said, some of those guys and stuff there who are protesting and about Black Lives Matter and stuff, they have friends, they have classmates and stuff who have died in the wars and stuff and everything. So there is no disrespect and stuff there for our flag. So the only thing that he can come back with is that, well, maybe they ought to find another way of protesting what they say what they want to do. They need to find another way. So I said, well, I guess if that's what you want to say, that you have your own opinion, I have mine. And so I said that because this thing has snowballed out of proportions.
yes,
And it is creating some problems and stuff for our Black athletes and stuff out there who want to stand up and stuff for injustice and stuff in this country. And because they want to stand up for injustice, they have used the anthem and stuff at the beginning of the game as a protest for the injustice that is going on against Black people who are being killed for no reason other than their color. So what we do about this and what the National Football League does about this, because they have sponsors who are talking about taking their sponsorship away from the National Football League. People are talking about turning in their season tickets and everything and stuff for the teams and stuff for the National Football League. There are people,
on social media, people burning their jerseys.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes, I think people take things a little bit too far. It reminds me of the days to show you how we are, in the disco era. You remember when people were tired of disco and they went and started burning their albums of disco because they was sick and tired of the music.
Mm-hmm.
So, and which I enjoyed that disco era myself. I like that music, but people were burning their albums.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's their form of protest.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to burn their jerseys, they spent good money, $80, $100, whatever they paid for the jersey. That's their form of protest, and you have that right to do that.
Absolutely. So, but you can see, but you can see the fear in these billionaire owners and stuff out there, with their billionaire teams and stuff, $1 billion teams and stuff out there, that they can really lose a lot of money and stuff to this protest that is going on, and they are afraid about their monetarily about what to do. So I'm hoping that they don't react by doing exactly what old 45 told them to do, to fire the SOBs and stuff,
Well,
to do that,
they
you
can
know.
do that if they want to.
And I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that point, because
Well,
these guys,
we are hoping that.
yeah, these guys are putting their livelihoods and stuff on the line and stuff to bring forth an injustice and stuff that is going on, and to have the president and stuff cause them to lose their jobs and stuff, and that are paying them handsomely for performing their art and stuff out there on the football field. And I hope it does not get to that point and stuff and everything that they do that. So this coming Sunday, the National Football League, the commissioner, a lot of the owners and stuff are talking to their teams and stuff about what they need to do, what they want to do. And most of the black players are saying that they don't want people to feel that Trump can tell them what they can do, and that the owners and stuff should feel the same way. So there's becoming a disconnect between the owners and their players and stuff, about this. So the power is in the owner's hand, because in actuality, they can fire these players. Now, there's a difference going on in the NBA and in Major League Baseball, because they don't have those clauses and stuff in their contract and stuff that will allow the owners and stuff and everything to fire them because of what they did. And it seems ironic that Trump or 45 picked the National Football League and didn't say a whole lot about the NBA or Major League Baseball and stuff about doing that and protesting and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this thing resolves itself some kind of way.
Well,
and we still are, and we're still able to do something about the protest, because if you actually look at it, old 45, he has no business even bringing in the fact that they are disrespecting the flag and all this, because he didn't even go to war at all.
Well, we know that. But the thing is, though, Ed, this is really about revenge. You know, one thing about 45, he never forgets. You know, back in the day, he tried to buy in and buy a football team. And what did he do? He started his own league, and which failed. So this is all about revenge, because he was not let into the club. You know, the same thing with Russ Limbaugh. Russ Limbaugh, you know, wanted to be in the club. And so the thing is that most people are decent people. They're not going to have people they know who has issues about race or all kinds of other issues that are not, you know, people with some type of integrity, some type of thing. So, you know, and we can go on, in fact, you know, saying, well, he's the president. Mm-hmm. But, you know, let the word pretty soon will be coming out. We all know, most of us know, who've done any kind of research and understand the news and what's been going on, how he got elected. Mm-hmm. So that right there within itself, you know, is another story. But
it takes that, and I know that this takes us right into our next topic. Black entrepreneurs, because we're talking about black athletes who have money, who have jobs and stuff out there. Now we can start talking about our entrepreneur things. So go ahead.
But that's a big challenge right now. That's the big thing. That's the hottest topic that's going on right now. And, you know, I'm currently, you know, on our blog, you know, we have our blog on Ted and Ed Money Connection. And, you know, we also are on Facebook. And my next blog is about, you know, capitalism and socialism and communism. And capitalism, to me, wins out, because, you know, you have to make money, you know, and a lot of people try to put capitalism and socialism together, but they're not really. They're similar, but they're not. They're much different. But the point is, what I'm trying to make is that we live in a capitalist, predominantly capitalist society. And let the truth be told, a lot of major companies are also, or I would say countries around the world are in the capitalist. But the people with the money, the $1 million multimillionaires and billionaires and what have you, they know how to control the money. And right now, the movement in the urban areas is have your own, start your business, do this, do that. But it takes capitalism, take capital, and it takes some type of management skills and what have you.
Let me ask you, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
You put out an article and stuff for our blog, the last article you put out, and you call it hustling. Mm-hmm. What drove you to put that article and stuff out? And when before you even wrote it, what was the inertia, the thing that said, "Oh, I need to put this and stuff out in my blog article"? I read the article and I was kind of interested as to why you did that and the analogy that you use in that article about hustling.
Right. Well, the thing is that, you know, all of us to a certain degree, even as young kids, we're hustlers. You know, if your parents say, well, you don't get any more allowance now, you got to go get you a job. You know, cut some grass or do this or do that. You know, and you want some spending money in your pocket. So you go out and you try to get out there and you hustle, and you either throw papers in the afternoons or in the mornings, or you whatever you can do, you know, sell whatever you can do. So now when you become an adult, you got to figure out, how can I make money? And, you know, there are a lot of commodities that you can sell, a lot of products you can sell, a lot of different things that you can sell for profit. That's what communism is. You buy something that's relatively affordable, and then you can add 10, 20, 30, 50% onto that cost and sell it and make a 50%, 90% profit. So capitalism is about profit. Capitalism is about capital. So in order for you to have your business, you got to have a product or you got to have a service. And right now, that's the big push in the urban areas, in the inner cities. That's what's going on. People are realizing that you have to have your own business. Now, getting back to your question is that a lot of people, there used to be a lot of hustlers out there, and it still is a lot of hustlers, but on a different plane. However, you know, before they start really cracking down on people used to be a lot of street vendors. There's still some out there, you know, trying to sneak out, but police are cracking you down if you don't have any kind of license, if you don't have any kind of this or that, and therefore, you know, you can get fined or even put in jail, you know. I remember just walking down the streets of Chicago, man, people would stop you almost on every other block. Hey, and open up their coat. You want to buy any watches? You want to buy this? You want to buy that? You know what I'm saying? So people have always been trying to make money, and that's what this country is all about. But you have to have an enterprise, and that right now is the big push in the urban communities now. And it should have been, you know, a long time ago. You know, we need plumbers, we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need all of these things, carpenters, electricians, all of these different things, start businesses to provide services and build things. We need our own, in the urban areas, manufacturing company. Instead of taking those many entrepreneurs, rappers, and what have you, making products over in Indonesia or in China or anywhere else, in India, you know, why not make them here? Why not make those products here? Because the bottom line is they're going to sell anyway. You might just have to charge a little bit more. That's all. You know, and because the people here is not going to be working for no $2, $5 a day.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's what I'm saying. You know, as far as what the hustling mentality has to go. Them days are over, because they're looking at people that's doing all this kind of thing. That's the reason why the drug market right now, the small drug man, there's so many people in jail right now. People are saying, hey, I can buy me a 20-pound bag of weed and make myself $2,000 in a day. You know what I'm saying? Break it down. So the point is, but it's illegal. It's illegal. You will go to jail. So why not do something legal?
Yeah, realize that there are other ways of making money and stuff out there other than something that's illegal, something that that will create problems and stuff for you. And the fact and stuff, I heard you saying about the street vendors and how they go out there and now that people, the government, the city government, local governments and stuff are cracking down on these vendors and stuff, and because they don't have a license to sell their products or whatever. Well, if you're making a nice buck and everything from going out there and selling your wares and stuff out there, your T-shirts and your socks or whatever, and
jewelry, whatever,
and jewelry, whatever, and you think it's worth it, then maybe you should go out and get you a license and everything. Go and tell the local governors this is what you're doing and get your license and stuff, because you're making enough money on your hustle, and it might mean that you can continue to make money and don't have to worry about the police cracking down and stuff on you because you got a license, it's a trade and stuff right there with you, or if they actually, well, you have a license to sell this stuff, oh yeah, here it is right here because you went out and got it, and then start filing your taxes and doing all the other civic duties and stuff that you need to do.
And then look at all the write-offs that you would get having a business and what have you.
Right, because you're making money. If you're making money doing that, that's fine. Because some people may not want that overhead as for a building and paying for lights and gas and all the other stuff and whatever. And there are ways and stuff now where you can use your phone and everything to transact business and stuff. But they have a reader and stuff where they can read people's credit cards right there on their phone and swipe it, and they can pay for their business or whatever. So it's that hustling business and stuff that you're talking about. It could be viable and everything for Black entrepreneurs. All you have to do is make sure that you follow the rules and regulations, that you aren't doing anything illegal, because, like you said, most of us, the young folks out there now, the quickest way of doing it is selling drugs. And that's illegal. There's no way you're gonna get a license to sell drugs or anything, and you can get killed.
It's illegal, right? And it's illegal in certain states, but certain states it's legal.
Yeah, but you still can't sell it on the street. You still have to have a dispenser, and you have to have a lot of money up front to sell it, because the local government says, okay, we got people who want to sell this stuff. You have to have a dispensary and stuff. You have to have a building. You have to have all those other things you need. And that's a huge investment and stuff in doing that. You can do it, but it's a huge investment, but you can make money and stuff off of it. But that business and stuff there in those states and stuff, they have been saturated, and all the people and stuff who are doing that, they have already created their places and stuff to buy these things. So, and the states have limited those licenses and stuff for people to do that. So, you almost ran out of that business already. So, but anyway, it is a very good idea, and and I know some of our viewers and stuff really ought to think about that. And then you also put in your article and stuff about it being a second income. So if you got a regular job and then use your hustle as your second income, that might help out a lot and stuff also and everything. You're working at a regular job, and then after you finish that job, you go out and work on your hustle to sell this and sell that. But still, you need to get your license. You still need to comply to the local regulations and stuff or whatever.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Well, I mean, we're just about out of time. You got anything else that was on your mind?
No, I have a lot on my mind, but like you said, we're out of time right now, and we need to close this thing out. And we're hoping that our audience and stuff have enjoyed our conversation, and that they will come back next Saturday. And right now, we want to let the audience also know that we are looking to have this podcast to be on every day. So hopefully we can get this thing together and we get it going, and we're going to tell you all about it when it happens. And we want you all to tune into it. And if you can't, just go on to Teddy Mayer TV channel there on YouTube, and there will be the recorded versions and stuff of it sitting there, so you all can look and see how you feel about it and get some ideas about the money connection and how you can make money, and also our opinions and stuff about what's going on there in local politics and all the other things that are happening locally. So thanks for joining us.
All right, Ed.
Bye-bye.
All right.